I don't know how someone like Lisa Herbold, who represents West Seattle, was able to shoehorn her way into being the chair of the Public Safety Committee. But it is a sick joke. So anyway, she was at the forefront of like, oh, I'm the white savior with the nose ring, and we're going to defund the police and save everybody. So anyway, she was on Seattle Channel with our friend Brian Callahan, who hosts a show over there, which is the city public access channel. And she was talking about how finally, 2023, they're opening up positions for alternative first responders to respond to some of these mental health crises. Here's what she said.
Today, I'm really, really happy to report that the city is hiring for the 6 positions for its first pilot alternate response team. It's going to be a way for 911 operators to dispatch calls to somebody other than police, somebody other than fire, a crisis responder who is unarmed. The police department will be aware of the dispatch. They may attend, they may stage nearby, or they just may have situational awareness. Each call is going to be different, but it's really exciting that we're finally up and running with hiring the folks who will be doing this really important work that we have been working on since, I think, August of 2020.
Yeah, so let me make a couple predictions here. Nobody's going to apply for that job. Nobody wants that job, Councilwoman. Especially when you say that they're not going to be armed with anything. Nobody wants that job. But if they do take that job, it'll only because it'll be a bloated government salary, and then they'll quit it as soon as they realize how dangerous it is. And I did appreciate that she clarified that, police will also be notified of these calls that we're sending these alternative crisis responders to, and police might stage nearby. I would also predict that police are going to have to do more than stage nearby for a vast majority of calls that come into these crisis responders. In truth, and we see this time and time again, some of the most violent criminals, some of the most violent crimes that happen in Seattle are people who are going through a mental health crisis. And that's sad and that's unfortunate. But that is the reality of our state's broken mental health system that doesn't do anything to help these people. And it doesn't do anything to hold them accountable and to protect the public from them. I mean, some of we call them repeat offenders in Seattle who have been arrested dozens and dozens of times. I remember this guy, he's been arrested probably 100 times at this point, who threw coffee on a baby in downtown Seattle. It was like the 70th something time he'd been arrested. Thankfully, the coffee was lukewarm by that point. But you get it. I mean, these are people who aren't in their right mind. And I don't say that to undermine the seriousness and sadness of that situation. But when you're not in your right mind and you've proven to be a danger to other people, then yeah, you need to be met with a police response. But here's the thing. And here's where I know some of you are going to disagree with me. I support this program. I think it makes sense, and here's why. We don't have a choice. We don't have enough police officers to respond to every call like this. When they said they were going to defund the police, they didn't defund the police on paper, but they defunded the police through their words and their actions and their political vitriol. So now we're left with a situation where you've got a city about the size of Boston, roughly. Our police force, that's always the example. We should have a police force commensurate with the size of Boston, yet we don't, not even close. And they can barely respond in a timely manner to life or death emergencies. And certainly they can't respond to 10,000 calls for crisis every year in a timely manner. So what do? You have no choice. You have no choice but to try to come up with other ways to respond to calls like that. So whether we like it or not, this is the stuff that we're going to have to do. Nobody wants to come work in Seattle as a cop. I mean, there's the rare example of people who are being recruited, but it doesn't even come close to keeping up with attrition. And so, of course, you're going to have to hire people who are, unarmed first responders, or else the option is do nothing. The option is when that 911 call comes in of someone in crisis, you do nothing. So this is what Seattle has built with its political cowardice and its hatred of police officers. And so we will see how this team of alternative first responders, whether anyone wants the job, and how the team's able to perform. But I simply don't see another option at this point. Because again, you can change your tune on police, all these things, say, oh, we're going to throw a bunch of money at hiring officers. No one wants to come work for you. And you've done that to yourselves.